All right, one of my favorite guys. We don't get him much. The Hall of Famer, Paul Pierce. He's busy. He's on Speak After Us, 19 years in the NBA. All right, I don't mean to create controversy, but Joe Mazzulla, when Tatum, and the whole thing about a flagrant foul, give me a break. I don't know. But he fell on his wrist, and he was in pain, and Mazzulla called off the trainer.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
Man, let me tell you something about Joe. He's a no-nonsense type of coach. You know, like every time I go to Boston, he's like, Paul, let's go do some MMA training. Like he's a fighter. Last year before the season, you know, he brought in the motivational speakers. You know, it was maybe a former player, a coach, or something like that. He brought in a Navy SEAL. He did. I was there, and he was doing activities with the Navy SEAL, and it was just like, that's who Joe is. That's who Joe is. So when I saw it, he was like, get up. Like, that's the type of mentality he's installed in this team.
You got to play hurt in the playoffs.
Let's go. You got to. Like, let's go. And then when I looked at it, the fall wasn't that bad. So, it didn't look that bad when he fell. It looked like a normal type of fall. Thank God it was only his wrist.
Yeah.
And he'll be fine. But I love Joe. I love the mentality he installs in this ball club, and you can just see it. So, like, man, you don't need to run over there for all of that.
That's how his culture is toughness.
Toughness.
Because they got enough guys that can shoot threes. He wants to create toughness.
And his off time, he don't go to the golf course. He goes MMA. That's
great.
That's him.
So
that's
listen,
him.
I sometimes I wish Westbrook could shift down something into a second or a third gear, but that's not how Russell Westbrook plays. Did you ever play? Because I thought Russell was so valuable to Denver. He just gives them great energy, and he's a great rebounder for his size. You ever play with a guy like that kind of has one gear, but is contagious the way he plays?
Well, yeah, Kevin Garnett.
Really?
Yeah, one gear. I mean, he plays at the playoff intensity during the 82-game regular season. That's what Russ is. And so that's what was lacking in the Denver in their squad, because I feel like the Denver team lacked some leadership that they lost when they lost KCP and, you know, Jeff Green and all the other veterans they had during their
and their coach.
Run. And their coach, exactly. But, like, Russ, I can say this. I bet you Russ probably led the locker room meeting after coach got fired. And probably was like, look, guys, our goal stays the same. He's that type of person.
Right.
Like, we're here. I came here to help y'all win another championship. Whereas I don't know, you know, which Joker's mentality or who else is in that locker room, but I know for sure that Russ said something in that locker room. And it shows on the court, his leadership.
Yeah. You know, it's funny watching Houston. The Warriors clearly said, don't give them any transition points. Make them beat us in the half court. And, again, Amen Thompson, Jalen Green are talented.
Yeah.
But Jalen's kind of one of those guys, it's like, well, he's not a point guard. He's not a great jump shooter. He's a great athlete. I honestly picked the Rockets in 7 in this series, 6 or 7. And after that game, I was like, I don't know if the Rockets are good enough in the half court.
No, that's their Achilles heel right there. They can't really score. They're built on defense.
Yeah.
You know, that's what Ime's his team, when he was in Boston, top-tier defense. That's what got them the number 2 seed in the West. And so, and they're young. You know what I'm saying? They built on their young stars. They have some veterans around them, but their stars are young. And so if you notice that around these playoffs, you got these young stars with these veteran players to where it's like they're playing against these veteran teams that know how to win. And so late in the game, it just seems like everybody's crumbling, these young teams.
Well, I mean, the Warriors, every time down offensively, it ran through Butler or Curry. And everybody on the floor in the organization knew it. I felt like Houston was kind of like Şengün or cross your fingers. They almost got panicked.
Well, they know who they are, Golden State.
Right.
We don't know who the Rockets are. They're still learning who they are. Because there's regular season, there's playoffs. You got to know when you get into the playoffs, we can depend on this. You know what I'm saying? And they're still learning one another. That they like, we know Şengün is good, but who can we trust?
I don't trust anybody else.
That's what I'm saying. And that's where you learn in the playoffs who you can trust. Because in the regular season, you can get away with all of that, whatever you're doing. But the playoffs is a different monster.
Well, depth and athleticism and youth wins a lot of games in the regular season.
A lot.
You play hard, you win.
Yeah.
Are you more impressed with Minnesota or more disappointed in the Lakers?
I think I'm more impressed with Minnesota, and I'll tell you why, Colin. Ant-Man. Ant-Man's game has matured so
It's
much.
incredible. You can see the work.
Like, yes. I mean, he's like, people are like, why are you selling him for threes? But he's knocking them down at a high rate.
Yeah.
Now he's making his teammates better. That's even more scary because now if he's going to be out here understanding what to give the game, that's dangerous. Because when I was, as a player, when I came into a game, it got to the point where I learned, like, what does the game need today?
Oh, okay.
And you fill it out and be like, oh, and that's what I saw from Ant-Man. You know what? I maybe don't have to go for 30 today. Let me make them better.
So your first year, you didn't get it.
It took me a while to get it. Because, I was a scorer deluxe. And so it was just like, what do I have to do to make, like today they need my defensive rebounding and my playmaking. And then if I'm there down the stretch, I can make some big shots. But I don't have to have the mentality of going like I have to get 30 for us to win. He understands that now at a young age. And it looks so beautiful to watch. And the scary part about it is like, how do you make this adjustment now? Do you stay home on the shooters? Oh, well, he's good enough to go out there and get you 40 if you open up those lanes now and win that way. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what the adjustments are for the Lakers.
Listen, I thought Chris Finch and the T-Wolves had a better plan.
Yes.
I mean, nothing against JJ, but it was his first playoff coaching game. I didn't know what the Lakers' offensive plan was.
No, it was just get the ball to Luka, Bron, and
and Luka only had 1 assist, so he wasn't getting it to anybody else.
And so that's right. They was like, hey, he's going to have to go for 40, but we're not going to let these other guys have big games. Our role players, Jackson, Vincent, all these other guys, even Austin Reeves, we're going to limit those guys because when they play well, the Lakers usually win.
Right. So, it's funny. I watched the Knicks. It was such a playoff game. Detroit plays great, and then all of a sudden New York's like, all right, bro, 21-0 run.
Yeah, that was crazy.
What do you make? I know what every Knicks player is, and I think I know what Karl Anthony Town is. I've seen him play live 3 or 4 times. He is so talented offensively.
Right.
They may have to move off him. How do players view Karl Anthony Towns?
I think they view him as an offensive talent, definitely an all-star in this league. And, those are hard to come by, so still learning. But I saw some growth in his game yesterday. Was it yesterday or the other day? Like, because he's just known as just a head-down shooter scorer.
Right.
Doesn't see the double teams, doesn't have a high IQ, but I saw, it's like, man, he looked like he's learning a little bit more. He's making extra plays, these extra passes that I saw that I didn't see him make over the years. And that can be scary. Yeah, that can be, he can see it now. He can see it now. I mean, he was just a one-dimensional player, but if he's going to well-round his game and give the effort on the defensive end and give them some grit inside, they're going to be tough.
I want you to take some time. Go back to your first playoff game. So, and I've said this before, most human beings aren't built to be 6'11". So to ask a 6'11" guy carrying 245, 255, hey, play hard 82 games. I mean, I'm exhausted if I fly from Chicago to L.A. The next day I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
You guys are burning 7,200 calories. You're banging around. Your bodies you're just big guys. NFL's got 1 game a week.
Yeah.
Baseball guys sit in a town for 5 days when they play. Yeah. Basketball, hockey guys, let's go. And at least in hockey, the ice helps you move. So I always said, NBA guys, you're not getting NFL effort every Tuesday in Orlando. Yeah. Go to your first playoff game as a pro. Were you shocked by the intensity of it?
I wasn't shocked because you don't know what it's about until you're in it. You know what prepared me for this type of intensity? Because I played high level in college, Kansas.
Big games.
Big games every night. So I kind of knew, but you don't really know until you're there. But I had a sense of urgency once I played my first playoff game. And I understood that, like, look, you can't waste possessions no more. That's the name of the playoffs. You can't have wasted possessions.
That's what Houston had.
Too many wasted possessions. Same thing with the Clippers. Too many wasted, and you have to play with a sense of urgency. So I knew that coming in. And, we had a fiery coach at the time, Patino, O'Brien at the time, who kind of like, and Antoine, so we were like mentally prepared, but you never really prepared until you get out there. After like the first couple minutes, you know that you're going to have to raise your intensity and you got to have awareness and you got to play with a sense of urgency. Like this is the last possession every single play.
Do you know your first playoff game? Do you remember it? It was against the Sixers.
Against Sixers. I think I had about 30 and 10, something like that.
Yeah, 31, 11 rebounds,
Right.
3 assists, 4 steals.
Yeah.
Who were you guarding?
Man, I was guarding everybody. McKee, Snow. I was guarding Snow a lot.
Was that the finals team?
Yes, the next year.
Iverson, Snow,
Yep.
McKee.
Yes.
Maybe the worst
Dikembe.
finals team ever.
Dikembe Mutombo.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. We played against them the next year after they went to the finals. So we made it, my 4th year, we made it to the playoffs.
Yeah, that's pretty
We
good
went
game.
straight to the Eastern Conference Finals too. I thought we were gonna play the Lakers that year. We went up 2-1 against Jersey, and then J Kidd happened.
Yeah,
never
he
forget
happened a lot.
He happened a lot.
Paul Pierce. So as we look at everything you've seen, I think we all look at Oklahoma City, and we all know they have a good GM and a good coach, and we know SGA is good. A lot of people, myself included, are like, are they going to win road games? They're really young. To beat a team by, what did they beat them by 50? When you see OKC, what do you see?
I see a team that looked like they thought they should have won the title last year. They look like they want to send a message to the rest of the league because, they were the number 1 seed last year. They're the number 1 seed, but they don't get no respect. They're not on national television every day. They don't get the bright lights and all of that. So they a bunch of young dudes who are looking to earn their respect.
They're a feisty team.
Yeah, they're very feisty. And they know that nobody, because we go on these shows and be like, who's coming out of West? Well, Oklahoma City won the West by 14, 15 games, and nobody's still picking them.
Right.
Everybody's like, well, the Lakers, Golden State. And they yesterday they was like, y'all better start saying our name or we're going to make y'all say it. That's
Yeah,
what
I mean,
it looked
the thing about and Boston did this last year, where Boston had a lot of nights last year they won the title, where they blew people out.
Yeah.
And oftentimes the Celtics on the road would go on the road, face a playoff team, blow them out.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City won by 16 a lot.
Yeah, a lot
this year. Paul Pierce, almost 20 years in the NBA. Great stuff as always, Paul. We appreciate it. He's on coming up in a couple hours on Speak.